The Western United States is expecting a heat dome, bringing in unprecedented heat across the state. The last time we had a major heat dome was in 2021 in June, and that set record temperatures across Seattle and Portland exceeding 100 degrees. This heat dome hitting in March will not be quite that hot, although we'll be seeing 100 degrees down in Arizona. We're expecting to break records in Idaho, with temperatures approaching and perhaps exceeding 80 degrees across the Snake River Plain. This heat dome, though, is not in June, it's in March, so it won't be quite as hot. We've talked about in the past that this winter is following closely to 1934, which is the warmest year on record in Idaho. When we talk about hydrology and we talk about snowpack, we usually refer to the water year, which starts in October, which is shown in this graph on the left, and then goes to September. That's because the snow typically starts to accumulate in October. This black line in the middle represents the average temperature in Idaho. That's between daytime and nighttime temperature for each month for the period of record, which starts in 1896 and goes to 2025. If you look at 1934 in orange, you can see the winter was far above average and stayed really warm all the way through May, and then went back down closer to the average. If we look at 2026 so far, we started out a little cooler in October, around average, and then we had a very warm November, December, January, and February. And the projection based off the next 14 days of data is that March will be warmer than 1934, setting a new record for the state. I doubt we'll cool down like we did in the last 5 years, shown by the brown. We'll have to see how the summer plays out, but so far, we're really close to setting a new record temperature for the month of March, with new daily temperatures coming up in the next couple of weeks. So what is this going to do for the snowpack? If we look at the Idaho snowpack, again, we're looking at the water year here. Right now, let's just go over some quick statistics. This black line represents the current snowpack. The median, or where we would like to be, is right at that X around April 1st. But we're not going to hit it. Even if we go to the 90th percentile or toward the wettest years we've seen, we may get 2/3 of the way there, but given the forecast, we don't expect that to develop at all. The median is this 50% projectile, and the dry, this 10% projectile, is kind of the drier, cooler scenarios going forward. So where we're at right now is we're 76% of the median for this time of year. We have 3/4 of the snow we typically have this time of year, 66% of our way toward the peak, and 22 days until we typically peak. But with this warm weather, we expect even in the highest elevations, we're going to have several days where the temperatures are going to go above freezing even at night. And that typically gets the snowpack ripe and ready to begin melt off. And so we've been looking at 2 years that are most likely to resemble this next period. 2015 was a pretty warm March. And 1992, again, was also a warm March. So if we put those 2 years as similar years and look at the snowpack, what this probably tells us is we've hit the peak snowpack probably this weekend. And we'll probably begin to see it start melting off, coming down here. So this is right in line with being possibly one of the more significant drought years in Idaho. The good news is we do have some pretty high snowpack up in the headwaters of the Snake in Wyoming, which will help mitigate a little bit of the drought impact across the Snake River Plain. But overall, we're looking at a year that has some pretty serious snowpack deficits.